Okay, so welcome to the call. Sorry, a little bit late. I asked Spyro to come on because we did a coaching session yesterday and his story is amazing and I wanted him to share it with the team. So if you can go back to the beginning, everybody, I think everybody on the call knows Lena. If you want to tell the Lena story right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so basically me and Lena, we actually known each other from it's probably about 17 plus years now. But ironically, we had fallen out before we got into the business, and that's just natural. As you know, as friends, you just kind of just separate off. So we stopped talking for a few years, and I remember one of the last memories of her. I remember is she actually asked me to borrow a tenner, and I remember actually going to the house, topping up the electricity, and we sat there basically just to heat up the house with the gas and the cooker, and that was basically one of the last images that I actually remember of her before we stopped talking. Moving forward, a few years later, I've now become a father. I've had my daughter. And just scrolling on my Facebook, a message pops up from Lena and said, and I actually just ignored it. I think about 2 or 3 times. I literally ignored it. As I said, we had stopped talking. So then she actually congratulated me on my daughter's birth. And yeah, when she, you know, when people mention kids, it kind of melts your heart a bit. So at that point there, we started talking. Basically, we had a little brief conversation, a little catch up. And hold on, what? Yes, you can have some, but Shay, I'm on the meeting. Please stop, okay? Don't come back in here till I finished, okay? Okay? All right, cool. Go back in the bedroom. Close the door. Close the door. Thank you. Yeah, so you know when people obviously mention kids, it kind of melts your heart. So at that point there, I basically started having a conversation with Lena, and naturally you just start nosing around. I scrolled on her page and I thought to myself, what has she done for her life to literally like change so phenomenally? I mean, at the time, I think this is maybe now 3 years ago, but I think she had just moved into her a new house. It looked like a semi-detached place up in somewhere up in far South London, and I was thinking, I don't know any hustle that can actually allow you to actually level up so fast. And I'm thinking, because as I said, I remember my personal image of actually what I actually had. So a lot of people have heard different stories and they've heard this business, but when they say it can actually change your life, I mean, I physically known someone to see it. So when I went on her page, I thought to myself, I asked her, what have you done seriously? Like, and she said, oh, it's just this, I found this amazing business opportunity. And that was the first time we actually spoke about the business. And then when she goes, oh, this business opportunity is it's so incredible, Spy. I said, oh, you know what? I ain't got time for that. Like, and she said, oh, everyone always says that. I said, yeah, but you know me, innit? She goes, yeah, but cool. I said, she said, this business is not really what you think it is. It's like it's online business. It's actually to do with health. I said, oh, so it sounds like Herbalife. And then I said, look, I understand that you've made money from it, but the way that I see it, like, it comes down to a lot of women make things from online. Some people make it, some people don't, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I'm working in security and I work in property inspection. As you see, I'm just a brand new father, so I'm actually being a full-time dad. So technically I have 3 jobs. I ain't got time to pick up no products and have anything in the back. And she said, neither did I. Like, and then she said, Spy, you know me. Do you think I actually have time to be shipping people products? Everything's taken care of by the head office. That, like, you know, there's no stock to hold on to, no invoicing. But you know what? I'm not even going to sell you anything. What I want you to do is, you've got a very analytical head. Go and research these products and see how they can benefit your daughter, and then just leave it at that. So I basically hung up the phone and then I went away with it. And when I actually went away, I actually looked into I actually did start looking into the products, and what I saw a lot of kids and their, like, acne was clearing up, eczema, kids was becoming focused. And as a father for the first time, I mean, as parents, I mean, we all know that you want to do the best thing for your children. You want to actually make sure you're doing the right thing. Now, I've actually been against the whole vaccination thing. That's my own personal preference, and that's been from the beginning. So my daughter actually hasn't got her You know, the original MMRs, the BCGs. I didn't give her none of that. The only injection my daughter actually had was the vitamin K, and that's because they done it too fast before I even realized. So the way that I saw it is it's all about the body's immune system. But it was something the doctor had said to me, which ironically linked me up with when I'd done the research, because the doctor said, if you're not going to get these vaccinations, or you're not going to do this to protect your child's health, then what are you going to do to boost your child's immune system? Because remember, these are things that we put in place because a child's immune system is weak within the first 3 to 5 years of their life. So if you're not going to do this, then what are you going to do? Because a lot of people say they're going to stop doing one thing and, oh, I don't want to take this, or I don't want to do that, but they don't actually make alternative replacements. So what are you going to do? I'm going to leave you with that, and goodbye. And that stuck in my head like a thorn, because I'm there thinking, obviously this is my first child, and it's a decision that I've made. Now, I've now had to talk to her mother about this decision, which at first her mother was completely against it. Then I've got my family turning against me, and it just didn't make sense. So when I've now, moving forward again, when I've now spoken to Lena and she asked me to research these products, the first thing that I saw was, it was one thing that kids are taking that it's actually dealing with everything. It's actually allowing them to, it's clearing their skin conditions, their acne, eczema. I saw kids becoming more stronger and more faster. So I thought, you know what? Actually, it's just fruit and vegetables. So yeah, I want to take them. And then I looked at it and they said that your children can't really take it until the age of from 4 years and older. And I thought, I asked her actually why is that, and she said because obviously most people generally have different eating patterns. It's after the age of 4 you know that your children's going to be eating solid food, so it's just basically that. But cool. When I looked at it, I thought to myself, do you know what? They tell you not to recommend giving lemons to children, that because obviously it's too potent. So that's probably why this is. If this is just fruits and vegetables, I don't see no harm. And I actually started. So I said, right, I want to get a discount on the products. She said, discount, join the business. I said, listen, you owe me money, man. Like, I want my money. She said, from you join the business, that will basically be, you will understand what I'm talking about. But I mean, we was going back and forth with the banter, but she said, listen, if you join the business, not only will you actually you can actually get your daughter's products for free, you can get a discount on your products. I said, hold on. So I get a discount on mine, and I get my daughter something for free in the first place. I said, yeah. And then I was saying, yeah, but that's not enough. And I was still trying to bargain and banter. And she goes, you know what? There's even some shakes because I know you're a personal trainer and whatnot. So like, just have a look at it properly. And I said, you know what? Okay. So I remember I was still a bit skeptical. Not gonna lie, I was still a bit skeptical. And then I think I got invited to come down to an event. And I went down to an event. And when I went to the event, I think it was in Old Kent Road, South London. The first thing I saw was, I remember hearing Cassie Smith's story, and I remember hearing 7 stone in 7 months whilst pregnant. That made no sense to me. Then I actually Googled it and I checked out it's real. Then I actually realized that the reason why obviously is because of the nutrients that the body's taking. Then I heard stories about people with their back problems healing up. And then Lena's story came on. And then I actually heard Lena's story, but I actually could see myself in it because there's a part of the story when she used to talk about the time when she was in this bedsit and that her friend actually came and borrowed her the money. And I'm there now in the crowd listening to this and thinking, she's telling this story and there's so many other people telling their different stories. So if not them, why not me? It doesn't really make sense now. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me get into the business. It's only £50, whatever. So I got into the business, joined the business, and when I actually looked at it, I realized that the £50 was just me actually buying a share into a franchise. That's actually where it is, and most people didn't see that kind of opportunity. So when I actually got into the business now, I've got the shakes, and within the space of I was taking the shakes before I even got the capsules. So I was taking them, and then after a while, I noticed I started getting a bit heavy. I actually had to turn around and ask my girlfriend. I said, do I look a bit bigger? Because I feel very sluggish. Like I can't really move or anything. And I started saying, I think I need to go to the gym. And she said, why? I said, no, I just think I need to go to the gym. So this was back in March. Now, this was obviously 2 years ago. I went to the gym And then within literally 3 days, I put on half a stone. I remember sharing my results and screaming off the top of my lungs because I'd actually ripped a new stretch mark in my arm. And I thought to myself, this is incredible. Now my daughter's products have come. And then when she's actually taking them, there was a time she's taking them now. I remember I thought they were very sweet. So I didn't want to give her them every single day. However, there's one time I just turned around and said, no, she can't have them. And she got so unbelievably angry. I mean, these times she was actually 2.5 years old. And the way she actually went on about them, she slammed the cupboard. And I thought, I have never seen a child get so upset for not taking sweets or vitamins or anything. And then I thought, there's something actually in this. And I realized as I started watching her get older, and I started looking at more research, and when she's like starting going to solid foods, instead of putting rusk into her bottle, I actually started using half of the shake into her bottle. And started opening my berry capsules. And right about now, the way my daughter performs, it's on a level that it's a very exponential level. And a lot of people say, yes, it's down to parenting, but I can honestly put my hand on my heart and say that the capsules, the chewies, the products have definitely helped my daughter's level of learning, her level of nutrition, her health. It's just amazing. And I'm so in love with this business because I got involved with it by accident. That's it. I didn't care about making no money. I didn't care about anything. And up till now, can tell you, I would never leave this business because it's doing what it said that it would do for me. It's a case of that I've got them to protect my daughter's immune system. Now, she's 3 years old. I'm sorry, she's 5 years old. Hold on, sorry, Julia, I'm gonna have to do this. Shay, quickly. They want to hear you. So, when was the last time you went to the doctors?
It's been since a long time, so I don't really remember.
You don't remember?
Oh, she don't remember.
So do you know? I've got a live video of her on my Facebook saying that the last time she went to the doctors was when she was a baby for her checkups, because she has her chewies. How often do you have your chewies?
Every day.
Every day.
Oh, good
and
girl.
What do they do for you?
Make me
Healthy. So how old are you?
5.
And when's your date of birth?
29th of July on Thursday.
Okay, that's fine. Give them 10 times tables quickly and then go.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Okay, bye. and for me, when I see her, she's in class, she's so sharp, and then people saying that obviously yes, it's the training, but what I say is that her retention level is so high. So people say things like carrots and things like mangoes help with your memory. So if she's eating things like mangoes and carrots and spinach every single day since she was 1.5 years, that's going on 3.5 years. When we see Popeye strong the way he is, that's there. So now I can actually fully say that the products, I'm sold by them. And then just because my old friend, whom I had stopped talking to, had literally just messaged me on Facebook just to shout out about it. And that's why this business is crazy.
It is really crazy, because if on the call, you've probably all heard Lena's story where she was living in a bedsit, she's sleeping on a mattress with her son, and in a really bad way. And she always says, and I lent £10 off a friend of mine, but I didn't know it was like, we only found that out yesterday. And I can't imagine the shocks you see her in this big bloody house that she's moved into, with a big car and everything. And it was
firstly the Range. I firstly saw the Range Rover, and I'm very honest about my story. I mean, I tell people, like, I come from a very bad place in South London. I mean, I was never a gang member, but I was actually associated to gangs. So, and it's just because you're always looking for options and opportunities to step yourself up. And it's one of those ones where I went to university, but because my student loan didn't come until, I think, November, December times, I got into, again, doing stupidness. So I've always actually had that ability. But for me, it's like, if someone had given me this opportunity when I was younger, I only started doing stupidness on illegal activities because it got to a point where I'm going to uni and I'm looking for work now because student loan hasn't come. But they're telling me that my shift is either 6 a.m. till 2 p.m. or 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. I didn't have the time to change around. So I'm looking for more income. How else can I do it? If someone had told me right now that I can sit at home and all I have to do is take a product and allow it to benefit myself and show people that is around your working schedule, your uni schedule, your life, it would have literally put me down a different path. So I'm so thankful for this business. And when I can see someone who I know with a Range Rover, and I think the post was like something like, imagine putting down so much money on a Range Rover and it's not from illegal activities. And that struck a chord on me.
It's not from illegal activity. Do you want to tell people about what happened to you before that period?
When I was really young.
When you was in trouble?
Yeah. Well, when I went, okay, basically, yeah. So just before what you mean my past,
Yeah. What you told me yesterday that you had to do 10 years clear.
Okay, yeah. So when I was really young, I basically, as I said, when I went to uni, my student loan hadn't come out at the time. So I was actually selling drugs. So these at the time, ironically, I didn't even get caught for actually selling. It's the case I was in my friend's car and they stopped us both. I took whatever was in the glove compartment, put it down, and then banged to rights. Now, because I didn't open my mouth for it, I now caught the record for it. However, because I was doing certain things in the past, I saw it as, do you know what? Karma is a bitch, and unfortunately, you're going to get what's coming to you. So this is me going to deal with it. So now at that point, you have after you come out of jail, a lot of people tell you it's a revolving door, and once you actually go out, you've got a record. And I'm going to be honest, it was a very hard thing to come out and try to change my life around, because I'm now applying for jobs, and although I used to get jobs easy, now I've got a record, it's very hard. Now I've got all of this stuff, it's actually very hard. So I now actually managed to spend like about 10 years to clear myself, and I've got into security and in property inspection. And in order to get into security, you actually have to be clean for 10 years after your license. So that's going on 15 to 20 years that I was actually able to clear myself. But then even just before I got into this business, just before Shay came, one of a friend that I used to know, he actually set me up, and he put something in my house. I came back to my house. I had a lock on my door, and then out of nowhere, I called the phone number. It's the police. They're telling me they actually had raided my house. I said, raided my house for what? They said it was a gun charge, and now I'm facing myself on my way to Belmarsh. I'm now in Belmarsh for about 6 to 7 months on remand, facing anywhere from 15 to 25 years. So I thought to myself, when I came at that point, I remember being very faithful and being very prayerful and saying to myself that I've changed my life, so there must be a reason that I'm here. Everything happens for a reason. And I remember praying consistently and saying that if I'm here, then it's only because either God's trying to show me, if you mess up again or keep going back into old ways, then I can go that life, or I can have my life with my daughter. Once I actually managed to fight that case, I remember saying, literally, I just said, the Bible says you judge a tree by its fruit. You can see my record, you can see my past, but actually look at what I do. I go with my CV, and you can see that I was cleared for like 10, 15 years of working in property inspection and security, to a point where actually I'm an operational supervisor in security, where I was actually managing certain staff at the royal wedding. So once I actually managed to put that down, it's like you can actually just see what actually happened. And then this is now, because I've actually gone on that path, my head's like, it doesn't even matter that I'm not doing some things, because you're still associated to certain people. This is actually what happens. And this is where, when I actually got into this business, I love it, because we now, like, I was a neckhead. I mean, I'm sure you've actually heard those terms, like a neckhead. I was a very, hold on, what happened? What did you do? Okay, you scratched yourself. Okay, just go and calm down. I'll be finished in a minute, okay? Yeah, so I was a very negative person. I mean, I hated life, and there was so much destroying, like so much detrimental for me. But then when I actually had my daughter, and the first year of her life, I remember after I came out, you still kind of go into that mentality without actually realizing, but I cut off a lot of my old friends. I cut off a lot of people that I spoke to. And then, as I said, Lena come with this opportunity. But the first thing is, I'm looking at my life, and I'm looking at a lot of people who I used to know, and they're still doing a lot of the same things, but I don't want to associate with them anymore. Now I actually have a daughter. I don't know actually what to do. And then because I'm so photophobic and I'm so anti and so angry, I looked around, I noticed the first year of her life, I have almost no pictures. And I thought, wow, my beautiful daughter, I've got almost no pictures of her first year. And the reason why is because of how I felt. And because I was a negative person, I thought to myself, because all of my friends used to be on the roads and I don't actually have anyone to go to the park with, I'm not going to take her down to the park. So I'm going to sit in my house, and then I will get upset because, and I realized when they say success starts with a second letter, it's all up to you, because my daughter started to suffer because I was upset. She didn't have pictures, and this, so then I thought to myself, I'm definitely going to make a change. And I said, every single day I'm going to put out a picture of me and her so you can see daddy daughter daily selfie. So I will always have a constant picture, whether I'm looking my best or not looking my best. And that's when Lena happened to come across on me, and I noticed that actually what happens is everything happens in life how it's supposed to happen, because it was, I had gone to a dark place to show me, for the, like, even though I'm not even doing certain things, your association can still lead you down a dark path. And then I've now come out, but I'm still not actually thinking along the right paths, but I'm now, it's actually affecting the other people around me who are in my life. And so I have to actually change my way of thinking. And once I changed my way of thinking, that's when the opportunity started opening up, because I started thinking, I need more for my daughter. I don't want to be that person who doesn't do something because of her, and because my friends won't come around, I can't do something. So I actually said, I'm not going to be the person who can't go out because I've got my daughter. I'm going out because I have my daughter. People see me coming back and they used to be at, it's 9:30, why are you having your child? I said, because I have to get to a meeting and I haven't got no one else to look after my daughter. And then you see me, and then I realize that this is actually how successful people make it. And the reason why is because they'll do whatever it takes, and they'll keep themselves in a positive state and associate themselves with the right people, and notice that your past, it's not nothing to worry about. It's something to propel you to where you're supposed to be.
Definitely. And I think that's really inspiring that you've had that in your background and now you've been really successful with Juice Plus. So I think there's something to learn there, that you went to an event, and that is what events do the job, don't they?
They
you
do.
Can't come away from an event and not want to sign up. Because if you don't, then you definitely, don't bother with that. So what happened with you in the business? What's happened with you and Lena now, out of interest?
To be honest, I mean, as I said, we weren't really talking that much beforehand. So basically, we got into the business, and then we actually had a bit of a fallout. So I think we basically just went our separate ways, really. And the way it actually is like, at first, it really kind of put me on a negative at first, because I thought to myself, I was brought into somewhere, and now I feel lost. But then actually what it is that this is life. This is actually what happens in life. You meet people, you fall out with people. And ironically, because me and her had fallen out before the business, I knew that it was basically a temperamental type of relationship anyway. However, there's no animosity there, because it was just literally different decisions, different ideas, and separate paths. So now I actually, after feeling lost for a while, I realized this is my business. I'm a CEO. I run my own business. And the reason why we actually used to clash is because actually I'm a personal trainer, and I actually have a certain perception of health and nutrition. And obviously she had her results through however she got through the business. So everybody has their own structure. But this is the thing about the business. You reach out to people whom you actually connect with. You actually find people like you. So then what actually happened is I turned around and realized, I closed my eyes and thought, what do I want? What type of team do I want? And what am I trying to build? And I looked at this, and the reason why I like Juice Plus on a minor is because it's health. It's just the actual health product. The reason why people lose weight with this product is because they get healthy, and getting healthy is just a byproduct of, so losing weight is just a byproduct of being healthy. So as an ex-PT, I thought to myself, do you know what? One biggest problem that you actually speak with people in the gym is trying to get them to eat right, trying to get them to change their nutrition, understand how nutrition works on their body. So that's why I actually was able to marry up with Juice Plus straight away. So now I've started looking out, and I'm looking at personal trainers, professional fitness professionals, people in the athletic industry. And now I've got 3 team members who are basically personal trainers. And at first, they were the hardest people to actually get, because personal trainers, if you're like me as well, I was anti. I don't take no pills. I hate
know
finger
it
tapping.
alls.
Yeah, yeah. You can't tell a PT anything because we only deal with health and nutrition. We only deal with natural. Anything that is made is man-made. If it's man-made, it's unnatural. But actually, if you realize that water comes from the sea, the air, the whatever, you put it in a cup, you put it into the fridge or freezer, it will freeze. Suddenly it's come out as a completely different compound. Did you make the water?
Joe, I love that. I love that. Do you know what? And you've just proved as well, like Joe hasn't got an upline. My upline I've not seen for 2 years. So you don't actually need an upline.
No, you don't. They're just the person who brings you in. You actually don't, because Julia, I mean, sorry to interrupt you again, but it's just when I think when I was on James Sanderson's Coffee Morning Success, I mean, on that, James Sanderson, he reaches out every now and then, he puts out different things. And I remember John Holloway, he said that go to the people who are there, because everybody wants to help you with your business. So when I actually got onto the call and I heard Julia, I mean, it was get over it, get over yourself and never have a 0 day. I was like, you know what? I will talk myself into getting upset, and I'm like, you know what? Don't do this, and I'm looking like that, and I feel like and I'll give myself so many excuses. But when I heard that, never have a 0 day, just show up, and those things there, and the way she broke it down succinctly, I actually had to reach out to her, and then that's how, for example, we're having this Zoom now. So even still, what I've realized is that everything in this business is there for you. All it is that you have to go out and get it. You have to go out and find what you want to find, because you don't need an upline. The upline is just the person who showed you about this opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. I used to reach out to Kim Smith, who's not in the business anymore. And then John, there's always someone there that you can reach out to. You don't have to be in your team or anything like that. So how has Juice Plus gone for you? You're doing really well, aren't you? When you're consistent. Are you an SC?
Yes, I'm an SC. What basically, I literally went from Partner Plus to SC in the space of I think about a month and a half, just literally over a month. How Juice Plus has went for me. A year and a half ago, I was actually up for my eviction. That's how Juice Plus went for me. I was actually up for my eviction, and I'm talking about, I actually had the letter 9 a.m. on the 18th of November 2019. They were coming. There was no if, buts, or maybes. I had no other avenues anymore. So the only thing I had to do was either pay 3/4 of it, or me and my daughter was going to be on the streets. And I remember asking people left, right, and centre to borrow money. And I think I got the letter on the 1st of, I think it was the 2nd of October. So I knew I basically had that month. So 2nd of October, they're telling me they're coming on the 18th of November. We know that we get paid on the 10th of November. I'm there thinking, cut-off date's the 30th of October, 31st of October. If I can work myself to a point where I can actually get enough promotions or get myself enough money, I can save my house, because no one was borrowing me any money. Then I actually analysed it like as in interview, because I used to be a telephone interviewer as well. So as a telephone interviewer, you had quotas and strike rates. So you had to basically make about 5 interviews a day, calling about 30 calls an 30 calls an hour, 5 interviews a day. I said, if I could apply that same concept to this, that rather than 25 interviews, if I can get 25 sales at the end of the week, then that will obviously be about £5,000 pay line each week. But that's what I had to do monthly. If I can do that in a week, that's what I had to do weekly at work. If I can do that on a monthly scale here, then that would actually help. And that's what I did. And every day I was calling, I was going crazy. And even down to some people, I just literally said to people, I know you don't know what I do, but can you let me to help me? And then they would ask me what, and I said, I've got these products and blah, blah, blah. In the end, I was actually able to turn around and get my Partner Plus, reconfirm my Partner Plus, then get my SP and reconfirm it at the same time. So I actually got my SP bonus and my Partner Plus bonus, and that basically took my obviously my income plus my commissions well over £3,500. I was actually able to borrow £1,000, 500 and 400 from friends, and save my house. And this is the house that I'm still in right now. So
Wow.
that's what Juice Plus has done for me. I can never leave this business because now, even going back into my old past, I'm going to be real with you. I couldn't even sell drugs quick enough to get that money. You can't even do, there's nothing you could do illegal enough to actually start it up to turn around and get that fast, because I'm not doing that anymore. That's like 10, 15 years ago, 20 odd years ago. So for me to actually go that, you're going to have to start building something back up again. Think about overtime. I was working 2 jobs. That's plus the emergency tax. It's not going to happen. I couldn't do it. But Juice Plus saved my house. If it wasn't for them, I would not be here right now. Me and my daughter would not be in this place that I'm actually in right now. And I love this.
Amazing. I can't wait to see you on stage. Special marketing director. It's going to be amazing, especially with all your background and your past and how inspiring it's going to be. And did you hit your PB today, by the way? Did you get those?
Yeah, I hit my PB.
Well done.
1, 2, 5, 1.
Chasing up those non-payments, those people that have bounced. Brilliant. Yeah, so I think you're absolutely amazing. And I'm really happy that you've got on the call tonight. Does anyone want to put in the chat any quick questions they've got? Is that all right? Are you all right for time? Imagine that story that it saved your house. All the health, all the background. Now, you said to me something yesterday, which I thought was really interesting, because I've got it going on at home at the moment, about the nutrition that starts at an early age, like 16 and stuff like that. So you're trying to reach out to that market, aren't you now?
Yeah. Now I've realized that my mentality, the way that I was, it's partially because of where we live, but actually majority of it comes down to our nutrition. Because if you notice, most guys who get into, let's say, gang activity or start getting into stealing or fraud or whatever they get into, or even actually women, even ironically, when most people, we start hanging on the roads at the age of 15, 16, when you're in that year 10, year 11 bracket. Now, when you actually hit college is when it actually properly hits. And that's because, if you notice, that's the time when you start getting more income. Mum and dad starts giving you pocket money, you start eating more out, start eating out more. Now you're in college. At lunchtime, there's only the KFC, the kebabs, the Burger Kings, just all of that stuff to eat. Then because you're getting money and you've actually eaten junk food, you come home and it's like, oh no, I don't want to eat now, I've eaten already. But then without realizing, you're constantly hungry, but then you're angry at the same time because you're nutritionally depleted. So 90% of the time, you can't actually think right and you can't actually function right. And if you notice, when you wake up and you actually haven't had enough sleep, you feel like you're rested, but you're a bit more irritable. That's what you're actually now in a consistent fog. So you end up wearing dark clothes, you end up having a dark mood, and you end up eating dark food. And I realized that's actually what it is. You're in a dark mood, you're eating dark food, you're wearing dark clothes. Actually, you're just mentally black. And that's when people say they have that black cloud over their head. But
that's happening in my house.
Yeah. But now I eat colors, and the way in which I eat colors is like, actually, I wear colors, I speak colorful. I'm actually more brighter, I'm more vibrant. If I don't have 6 to 7 vegetables on my plate, it doesn't seem right. And it's just actually, I'm a more happier person. So I started thinking, it's a problem, because 90% of us, that's actually where it comes down to. They keep talking about the UK being a state of antidepressants. It's talking about the UK being a state of actually anxiety and all these things there. When actually look at when it starts, it actually onsets from 15, 16, 17. And then it starts going into our actual lives. Now, my partner, she's a mechanic, but actually when she goes to work, coming at lunchtime, there's nothing to eat unless she actually specifically makes something to take to work to eat. There's nothing to eat. Now, in the mechanic field, obviously in the garage, it's quite cold in the garage, and you're dealing with obviously heavy machinery. Now, obviously I can speak about her field in that sense, but she came home one time and she told me about how actually, after taking these products, how she's got a lot more energy, but she started looking around and seeing how a lot of people are just sometimes a bit angry, especially in the weather. So this now put me back into the past and think, this is why all of us when we're actually quite young, at 15 to about 19, are actually angry, anxious, and depressed. We're just not eating right. And the biggest thing that I can turn around and show people is actually, we need to change our nutrition. Even if it's down to parenting, it's like we force our children to eat a home cooked meal at least 3 times a week.
Unbelievable, yeah, because as Lisa knows, I've got that going on right now, where she's just gone to college, can't control what she eats unless she makes herself something in the morning or tonight. She's actually made herself something tonight because just trying to work through that. So it's interesting, isn't it, how it's from such a young age, how nutrition is so important from such a young age.
Yeah, it really is.
I think it is. So you've got lots of different avenues to go down, haven't you? Well, everybody has. From that's a really exactly, Joe. Shit food, shit mood. Exactly. And I'm trying to get Callie to eat properly and eat this, and it's bad. It's hard for me because I'm a bloody fitness instructor. And I'm going, you shouldn't be eating that. You shouldn't be eating that. You need to eat that. You need to. They come round eventually and know, just like the others did, the older ones did. But it's bloody hard when they've gotten out. Start going to the one stop for a bloody sandwich, a bag of crisps, and a can of Coke for their lunch and stuff like that. Oh, thanks so much for joining us. Anybody got any questions in the chat? And well done for hitting your PB today. Brilliant.
Thank you.
So no, just totally inspiration for the live we're gonna do next week, Lisa.
Yeah, and do you know what, Melanie? I bet you was listening really hard about the vaccination thing and your children.
Yes,
and all that, weren't you?
I am so pleased for you, and I so regret that I let people talk me out of it for my boys. But I've totally gone against any other since, and I wish I had this. I knew about these products when my kids were younger, but it's only been a year since I've known about them. So it's just
no, but keep going, because the thing is, that's actually where it is. I personally believe that when this whole thing actually hit, I turned around and I actually said to my girlfriend, I said, I think I'm here to save the world. And then my friend was actually around and he started laughing. I said, no, you think it's a joke, but I remember when I was younger and I was in school and they asked me what do I want to do, and I said, I don't know, I just want to change the world. And I was like, well, if I don't change the world, I'm going to touch the person who touches the person who changed the world. But now with doing what we actually do, I realized when everything actually hit, remember, everyone lost their jobs. Even up till now, job security isn't secure, but we were still flying in 27 to 28 countries around the world. And if you think about the industry that we're in, health is never going to go out of fashion. Food is never going to go out of fashion. And because of that, we have two of those, health and food. And because it's natural, we're never going to go out of fashion. So those things alone, I was like, wow. And then the whole world hit and everyone's looking about trying to improve their health. Everyone's looking at more job security. So I realized that actually, you actually have the key and the position to hit everybody around the world. And all we have to do is when the company actually opens up in all the countries, you have all of the countries. So we have actually got the keys to actually, ironically, save the world if you want to.
Yeah, but everybody just has to be consistent. Like you was asking me yesterday, what do you do on days where you don't feel motivated? I said, well, I don't really get those days because I'm always trying to keep it fun. If you bring in new customers and bring in a new team, it keeps it fun. And so you don't get fed up with it. You know what I mean? So you don't feel like leaving. Just how good is it getting a new customer? Yes, I've been trying to get her for ages. You said no for 2 years.
It's like, no, the thing is, that is definitely a given. It's like, if you start feeling you're demotivated or burnt out, ironically, just try and get new customers or try and get a new teamie, because having somebody to work with, it does really actually help. Because when someone else comes in, they have that same fire, that same passion, that it reignites within you the reason why you joined and the reason for actually what you done. And then when people actually are actually achieving certain things and getting on certain things, it kind of makes you feel proud, because you also know that you're growing, that you actually had the ability to actually allow them to see it, and then they're also going to see the vision. So remember, we want this more for them than they actually want it for us. So you only look at people who've got more potential. So
tell us that quickly, that little story about, I mean, how amazing was it to be at Harrogate with your own team, because you haven't really got an upline anymore. You've got your own team there with you. And tell us a little story about John Holloway.
Okay, so when I first met John Holloway at Barcelona about 3 years ago, and when I actually met him, I remember he was telling me about the business, and he said he'd heard a bit about me because he'd heard Lena's story, obviously, and it was kind of ironic to meet me and whatnot. And he goes, if I'm actually as good as he sees, then to be honest, next time he sees me, he wants to see me with a team. I met him in Edinburgh. I was with basically, obviously, our original team, but it wasn't my team. So I kind of felt a bit away, but I didn't say anything. But then when I went to Harrogate, it's like, actually, I was there and I actually had my team. But the thing is, we dress up in our traditional colors and uniform. So actually, I had my team there. But it's not only that with my team; it was my partner, my girlfriend, my wife. basically, and then my basically like my best friend, she was my diamond when I first joined the business, and I was looking at her for ages to join this business, but she's a personal trainer and kept no. But then she was there, and my other friend who's an artist as well. And I've always, like, because he's a model, he's an artist, and he's a very spiritual guy. I've always said that I want him to, like, we've always said like we're like brothers from another mother. But I've always wanted him to be in his business. So to actually be able to go there, and they were actually there. Then I saw John Holowati, and then he said to me, he said, he said something that was, I remember, I said, I called him, I said, hey, John, you're right. He goes, I remember you. When was the last time I saw you? I said, the last, I think it was, and I told him about Brighton. He said, okay then. He said, I said, remember in Barcelona, you said you want to see me with a team? He goes, yeah, I know. Where are they? I said, they're up there. He goes, I know, I saw them. That's very good. That's very good. Keep going.
I love that.
And
I absolutely love that.
It made me feel so nice, because it's like, I thought to myself, one thing I love about this business is that people from the top levels are always still so humble. So always just have that on board as well, because it's a case of people don't grow in this business and they grow negative and grow nasty. Actually, they still grow and want to help you. And for me, seeing someone like John Holowati for the first time, and I never knew him, and then now actually getting onto calls and hearing people always talk about him, and then seeing Julia, I mean, the levels of where people are at, it's like, I used to think to myself, I'm like, well, I'm only an SC. But then actually, I think of myself as a PMD. And then actually who I contact and connect with, I actually connect with people at the top levels, at the top brackets. So that actually goes back to the cause of, you need to see yourself as how you want to be, because that's actually who you gravitate towards, and then work towards it.
Yeah, I love that. It's absolutely brilliant. I hope you're taking notes, people. You've been dropping some good bombs tonight. Thank you for
Can I just say, right, you are not only an SC, mate. Like, seriously, I've worked with partner pluses in this business that have got a PMD mindset. I just always say your title never ever defines who you are. Like, honestly, mate, you've got PMD mindset all over you.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, thank you.
I told you that yesterday, so now you've heard it from someone else.
Yeah.
We're all going to see you walk out on stage as a PMD plus, and tell your story, and it's going to be really inspiring to everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Has anybody got anything else they want to pop on the end? So what are you doing looking forwards? What's your next goal?
To be honest, my next, ironically, is literally just to keep growing this business and trying to reach out to more people, because I feel a lot of people actually make our business look bad. And that's the truth. A lot of people, they come across as it's a fad, it's a diet, it's a weight loss. The thing is, my actual goal is to get this on, for example, in the Boxing Commission's nutritional supplement of choice, because as I've got a lot of friends who are professional boxers, and one of the hardest things that they actually have is making the weight for their fight. Sometimes that's actually even harder than the actual fight. And if they actually don't make the weight, they can actually even lose money or actually end up pushing off the fight and stuff like that. So where I was actually able to literally gain a stone in half a stone in 3 days and a stone in a month, and I've had other people able to change it, that's actually where I want to go with it. But also, there's a lot of athletes and a lot of professional people who are actually on this, and a lot of people don't really know about that, because the professionals and the athletes, they're not endorsed by the company, so they're not going to start shouting out about this product. They're just taking it for their own beneficial health, and if you actually ask them or come across them, then they'll actually they'll actually tell you about it. So I'm trying to bring this to the forefront of more people, because people don't realize that this is actually celebrity nutrition that you actually have here. Because you ask, how come these celebrities, their skin is so flawless? How come they live a lot longer than others? That's because they're eating and taking things that are different from the rest of the world. Ironically, so are we now. We're taking things that is actually one of the most purest form of natural. And ironically, all it's been done is actually, it's been packaged smaller. So it's packaged smaller, so it's more convenient and handy for you. And it's stepped up the game, because think about if we couldn't suddenly go out and the whole air was actually completely toxic, where you couldn't breathe. Actually, you can still have your products delivered, and you can't grow your fruit and vegetables outside because the air would kill it. But you're still getting your nutrition, and that's actually where it is. So I want to show people that it's the health product. I'm trying to overturn the concept of what Juice Plus is, because people even forget. Do you know why it's called Juice Plus? Because they went one step up from juicing. they realized that if you juice your fruits and vegetables and have the skin, the seed, the pulp and everything, then you'll get all the benefits in it. But if they take the water out of it, they can shrink it down to the smallest compound. Then you can actually drink the water and have the whole thing effectively blowing up an apple in your stomach, a mango in your stomach, a pineapple, effectively like that. And that's why they take it up. Juice plus.
Oh, I love that. A lot of people probably haven't heard that before. And you know, when you look at the label, people look at the capsule label, what you see on there is just the things that have been added. It's, you know, there's some actual added stuff, the vitamins and stuff. Do you know what? I think that's been a really good call. Has anybody got anything to throw in? Jo? Is she there? She got getting a dressing gown on? Yeah, thanks, Lisa. Isn't it an inspiration? Pop in the chat the biggest thing that you've taken away from tonight's call. Give it up for Spyro. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
No worries, no worries.
So it's the start of a new month tomorrow. We've still got the winter wellness package. If I was you and you're on the call, I would start a challenge tomorrow, like a squat challenge or something, or a drinking water challenge, or no caffeine challenge, and start in your group. That's what I've started advertising today. And keep on with the winter wellness package because it's still 20% off. I know Black Friday's finished, but we've still got, it's a really good package. Only 30 shakes, 30 soups and 90 boosters is perfect for people that don't want to commit to 90 soups. 90 soups is a lot to commit to, or 60 is it in the box. It's a lot to commit to. I've had customers before and they went, whoa, that's a lot of soup. So it's a really good offer. That,
and you know what a lot of people don't realize is that, remember, because our products are just fruit and vegetables, you actually can use them in addition to your stuff. So if you actually make make soup, just add it to your soup. It's the same thing like I do. I mean, I would make something called a hard food soup, basically with yams, plantain, dumpling, and it had oxtail in it as well, or some curry goat or some mutton. And I literally just poured the packet of soup in there, and it thickens it up without actually having to add the cornstarch. Then I know that the fact is my soup now has got a further 9 vegetables, and then I'll do things like add my omegas into it as well, just because it's literally all the benefits. And this is how you can showcase people that there's ways of actually taking the products, not necessarily how they want it, because people will say, oh, I don't like soup, it tastes bland. But well, make a tomato soup and then add that and then add it to it. You've got a completely different soup.
Yeah,
I've made chicken with the soup and it's delicious. So I've used it like you would use a stock, but I've used the soup powder instead, and it tastes amazing.
It does.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, did you put the omegas in the food and it just melts?
Yeah. I do, because the thing is, the omegas, because it's remember, because the shell is just tapioca on all of the on all our capsules. Tapioca, basically, when tapioca's hard, when tapioca's hot, it's soft. When it's cold, it goes hard. So that's basically the same as the shell itself. So when you actually put it into the food, you literally just see it actually dissolve. And because it's obviously it's omega-3, 6, and 9, I generally tend to put it in my soup, so it actually mixes in. You don't taste anything or anything.
Interesting. Never heard that one before. John had a group last year, didn't he, called Winter Wellness? I don't know if he's going to fire that up again. Don't forget, there's also that shake challenge that he's a 10-day shake challenge. I don't know if anyone's doing that.
Yeah, I'm doing that one. I'm starting that one from tomorrow myself.
Yeah, tomorrow it's a new month, and I mean December is not a quiet month. It's only quiet if you go quiet, right? People are in buying mode. People are like, oh, I've spent so much on my credit card. Oh, I'll just get them as well. Oh, why not get that winter wellness package and I'll sort it out after Christmas? Do you know what I mean? So don't think to yourself, oh, December's quiet. It's not. I got to SP. I joined in October. I got to SP. I reconfirmed in SP in first position. Yeah, reconfirmed in December. And back then, if you got 5 premium customers, you got £180 bonus. Like, that's not around anymore.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm having all these bonuses. So what if it's December? And I actually took advantage of visiting family down in Kent, I'm in Manchester, and putting on little in-home events in my auntie's house I hadn't seen for 25 years, in a girl from school's house that I hadn't seen for 20 odd years, Jay's next door neighbour I didn't even know, I just said, do you think she'll put on a little in-house for me if I give her a tin of shake? Used to be a tin there. That's how I built my business in December. So it's not a quiet month unless you go quiet. I'm going to be away for most of December. I'm not dropping my business though.
Julia, that's actually a little hack. I mean, for anyone who actually just heard that, I mean, if you want to pick that tip up, I mean, that's actually a little hack because it's Christmas. It's the Christmas season. It is the season to be jolly. Fa la 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 la. Everybody wants to gather. Everybody wants an excuse to get together. So as Julia just said, she spoke to someone who she hasn't spoken to 30 odd years. Her neighbor. She just basically started reaching out to people. You yourselves actually at this period of time, it's just an excuse to actually throw parties. So and you don't actually have to say that you're actually having an event. Say, oh, do you know what? I want to have a little gathering, and then just put it on. And it's just an excuse so you can actually have little things. And bear in mind, because it's Christmas, shakes are amazing for doing so much with. Like you can make
And I just say, like, sorry, Spy. Like December, mate, everyone is in spending mode. Like all of us were like, oh, fuck it, it's Christmas. Fuck it, it's Christmas. Guys, you need to be getting on it in December. It is spending mode. People are happy to spend. Just do it.
It's so true. It is so true. It is so true. We
and can I just say, sorry, because I've got a dash you. Can I just say, Spy, we've got Millie Jervis Stringer on next week. So if you or any of your team want to jump on, man, you're more than welcome.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely will.
Yeah, we need to end the call now because we've got a power hour coming up. I still haven't got my coat on from work yet. I'm sweating buckets. Jay's got the heating on full blast. So can I just say thank you so much for jumping on. Really, really appreciate it. It was really good. And I'm going to download the call to YouTube and I'll send you all a copy of it. Joe, I'll send you a copy and Spyro, I'll send you a copy.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Share it with your team. So I'm just going to stop.